Let's start with the ones that are terrifying and work our way towards the ones that are hellish nightmares. Number 4. The Glass Storm Planet. HD 189733b is a hellish planet that is worse than any nightmare you could ever possibly dream of. The planet is enormous, around 15 times Earth's radius. From the outside looking in, it appears to be a larger version of Earth, covered with beautiful tropical beaches. But I guess it's time to find out what would happen if you were to enter this planet's atmosphere. You are back in a modern day spacecraft and have just entered what you thought was a vacation getaway. Instantly, the ship begins to glow due to the high heat of the atmosphere, a great sign that you picked the right day to go to the beach. Around the 5-second mark, the craft's heat shield begins to warp, melt, and vaporize. 10 seconds in, supersonic winds slam into the craft as molten glass particles in the atmosphere shred the craft to tiny pieces. Within 20 to 30 seconds, the tiny pieces of the craft and you are completely vaporized and carried away by the wind. It turns out that the planet isn't a giant ocean of water. It's almost entirely made up of scorching hot hydrogen and helium, reaches a whopping 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit, has stronger winds than Neptune, and even rains molten glass sideways, making it a horrible planet to vacation to. So you're probably wondering, why the hell is the planet blue if it wasn't meant to have any visitors? Well, that's because the planet's atmosphere contains tiny particles of glass, which are great at scattering blue light, making it the worst scam in the known universe, and another reason why it deserves the #1 spot. And yes, just like all gas planets, the simulation always ends the same. Instant vaporization anywhere on the planet, followed by suspended in the dark metallic oceans. Number 3. The Terrifying Gas Planet. HD 80606b is yet another horrifying planet. A hot Jupiter gas giant with a wildly elongated orbit that is about 11 times larger than Earth's radius. The reason why this planet is so scary has to do with its incredibly wild temperature swings, as it goes from deep space to nearly touching its star. When the planet is closest to its star, the temperature goes from around 450 to over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit in just 6 hours. Now I know it's hard to visualize these numbers, so let me put it in a way we can all understand. 450 degrees cooks a beautiful pizza, while 2,000 degrees cooks a terrible pizza. Hope that helps. But let the simulation begin. You are back in a modern-day spaceship and are about to enter the planet's atmosphere. Of course, you will be entering the planet at its hottest. As you enter, the ship's speed instantly begins to accelerate at incredible speeds thanks to the planet's gravitational pull. Within seconds, the outside of the ship's temperature rises over 7,000 degrees, which begins to erode the craft's heat shield. Around the 30-second mark, you begin to descend past violent storms, high winds, and violent jet streams as pieces of your ship melt and vaporize. Around 60 seconds, the hull begins to deform and eventually implode due to the ever-increasing atmospheric pressure, which means you have imploded as well. Congratulations, you survived an entire minute, a new personal best. Let's try that again, but this time you invested in Bitcoin at 10 cents and were able to purchase an indestructible spacecraft. So what would happen if you were to step out of the ship at the planet's buoyancy point wearing no protective gear? In less than a millisecond after the hatch opens, you would be crushed to a pulp, then completely vaporized into the metallic ocean. Now, for that one person at NASA who accidentally let this video autoplay, I got you. If you were to step outside the ship, this time wearing a modern-day NASA spacesuit, you would be crushed to a pulp, then completely vaporized. This is because the atmosphere is millions to hundreds of millions of times more pressurized than Earth's, and oceans made of metal are apparently very hot. Let's try that again, but this time you're wearing an indestructible and highly advanced spacesuit. What would you experience then? As you exit the spaceship, you instantly lose sight of it in the hazy, glowing, infinite ocean. You no longer know up from down as you float suspended in the endless abyss. Out of nowhere, electrical currents trickle around you, giving off light, if only for a second. An absolute nightmare. Permanently stuck playing an ocean level. Number 2. WASP-127b. WASP-127b is yet another incredibly horrifying planet, a gas giant that is about 15 times Earth's radius. One of the many reasons why this planet is so terrifying is that it currently holds the record for the highest winds ever recorded. For reference, the highest non-tornadic wind speed ever recorded on Earth is approximately 250 miles per hour, which is strong enough to send a human hundreds of feet into the air. Neptune, which has the highest winds in our solar system, has winds that reach as high as 1,500 miles per hour, faster than the speed of sound, and almost 4 times faster than the winds of Jupiter's red spot. Winds this high would obliterate you on contact, reducing your body to a cloud of vaporized tissue. But get this, WASP-127b has a recorded wind speed of over 20,500 miles per hour. A regular person hit by a wind force this strong would be completely erased from existence instantaneously. But okay, let's say you manage to enter the planet's atmosphere with a modern spacecraft. Within 5 to 10 seconds, the craft's heat shield is destroyed by the thick metal-rich atmosphere. Around the 15-second mark, the craft and everything inside is torn apart and swept into the jet stream. The craft and your body are shredded, scattered, and absorbed into the winds, erased so completely that it's as if you were never there. But just for fun, let's say you were a storm chaser with tech so advanced, you could fly into these storms in an indestructible spacecraft and stepped out in an indestructible spacesuit. Well, you would instantly be taken by the wind and crushed inside of the suit from the extreme G-forces, separating soft tissue from the bones. Obviously, the suit still needs a bit of work. Number 1. The Iron Rain Furnace. WASP-76b is a terrifying hot Jupiter gas giant, infamous for its molten iron rain and winds that reach over 10,000 miles per hour. The planet is massive, nearly twice the size of Jupiter's radius and around 20 times Earth's. The planet is also so close to its star that it's tidally locked. One side is forever scorched by intense heat, while the other remains a dark, hellish landscape lit only by its molten iron rain. But let's say you were placed in charge of a modern spacecraft and enter the planet's atmosphere on its sunny side. The craft will immediately report temperatures hotter than molten lava. Around the 3-second mark, the heat begins to destroy the craft's heat shield thanks to the iron vapor in the atmosphere. And around the 5 to 10-second mark, the craft's entire structure begins to melt, which includes you. Around the 20-second mark, the entire craft and you are nothing but debris taken by the high winds, which eventually get so hot that they vaporize, leaving no traces of your existence. Since I've already covered what would happen if you exited a ship at the buoyancy point of a gas planet, let's switch it up a bit. This time, you're an adrenaline junkie looking for your next fix, so you'll be skydiving into the planet and gulping down some air. Within a fraction of a second, you're incinerated. Now, just because I know you're wondering, let's say you skydived on the dark side of the planet away from its sun. Within a fraction of a second, your skin and eyes flash boil, your lungs and organs collapse under the atmospheric pressure, and as your body is ragdolled across the sky, molten iron rain sears through your crushed body. Within 1 to 2 seconds, the scorching winds shred you into tiny pieces, which quickly sizzle into vapor carried away by the storm. So, a bit better this time. But let's say you exited the craft wearing an indestructible spacesuit and decided to skydive into the planet. What would you experience then? As you freefall through thin gas clouds, your descent quickly increases in speed. A few minutes later, the sky shifts into a glowing orange haze as you continue passing through thick vapors in the atmosphere. Out of nowhere, your body is violently spun and tossed in random directions as supersonic winds slam into you. That's when the noise of the storm roars all around you, as if you were inside a massive hurricane. Lightning storms arc overhead, exposing the alien metallic clouds in the environment. Around this point, you will see the infamous molten iron rain, spreading as far as your eyes can see. As you continue to fall deeper into the atmosphere, light fades, sounds disappear, as you are submerged deeper into the reflective ocean of metallic hydrogen. Once you finally reach the planet's core, you will be completely surrounded by what looks like a glowing fog made of superheated matter, your final resting place.